If you're living with MS or trying to understand it, you're in the right place. This channel makes MS make sense, with no doom, just truth. There's one sign neurologists quietly watch more than almost anything else. And most people with MS don't even realize they're being evaluated for it. Stay to the end, because the answer changes how you think about MREs, relapses, and what to do next. Hit like if you want more clear MS videos, and let's get into it. So, you went to the neurologist. Again. You did the walk the line thing, touched your nose, and answered the pop quiz questions. You left with that familiar cocktail of relief, and a bunch of new questions. Maybe you caught a look from your doctor and wondered what were they looking for. It can feel like you missed a secret memo, one written in invisible ink. Today, we're holding it up to the light. You have a nagging feeling there's something quieter the experts are watching, and you're absolutely right. There is one specific thing that neurologists track more closely than almost anything else. It's not always about new spots on a scan or a full-blown relapse. It's something much more subtle, happening in the quiet spaces between the big events. Like when you're talking to your doctor, in mid-sentence, your brain just freezes. It's only for a second. You laugh it off, but they noticed. They noticed how you got up from the chair, the slight hesitation, the way your voice recovered. Your doctor isn't just making small talk. They're quietly filling out an invisible scorecard during your visit. It's subtle, but it's one of the most telling parts of your MS journey. No doom, just truth. The truth is, they're tracking what gets left behind after the fire is out. And, yeah, they're judging your walking like it's the Olympics. No medals, just notes. Imagine a secret notebook. Okay, probably a tablet, where they keep that silent scorecard. It's not just dramatic stuff like a new lesion or a major relapse. They're tracking patterns, the quiet shifts that build up between the big events. How you moved, any tiny hesitation, how your voice and balance recovered compared to last visit, and the one before that. It all focuses on three things: how often flares happen, how intense they are, and the big one, how well you recover. Recovery is the real tell. If you have a flare-up and bounce back 100%, that's one data point. But what if you only bounce back to 95%? A bit of numbness sticks around like an unwelcome house guest. What remains is the key. You might call it your new normal. To your neurologist, those leftovers are crucial clues. Breadcrumbs showing the path MS is taking. In the exam room, when asked to walk heel to toe, they're not just checking balance now. They compare this walk to 6 months ago and to a year ago. They look for slow, almost invisible shifts. It's the difference between a one-time storm that clears and a slow rise in water level that reshapes the landscape. That slow, quiet change is watched with hawk-like focus, because it tells them more than a single MRI ever could. The one sign your doctor tracks on that silent scorecard is called subtle progression. It doesn't sound as dramatic as relapse or lesion, which is exactly the point. It's the quiet accumulation of symptoms that don't entirely go away after a flare-up. The slow, steady march forward you might not notice day to day. It's the stuff that sticks. So what does that look like in real life? It's not a sudden inability to walk, but a slight stiffness, or that tip of the tongue frustration happening more often. These changes are easy to explain away as just getting older. This is subtle progression, hiding in plain sight. You adapt without realizing it, but these smart adaptations can mask the evidence your doctor needs. Let's be honest, living with a chronic illness has its share of absurd moments. If you can't laugh at the weirdness, you'll just cry, and laughing is way more fun. So, expectation. I am a highly attuned human being. If a single nerve fiber changes its mind, I will know it instantly. I will document it with the precision of a scientist and report it to my neurologist with a color-coded chart. You are basically a superhero whose power is hyper-awareness. Maybe you stand up with a groan or forget a name mid-story. You think, that was weird, and get distracted. We think we'll notice the big changes, but the signs of subtle progression get lost in the daily noise. You don't notice a cognitive slip. You just blame it on not enough coffee. So how do doctors fill out this silent scorecard? It's not magic. They use old school techniques and modern technology, piecing together clues from 3 sources: MFR hard, half the physical exam, and the conversation with you. An MRI is a picture, not a performance review. New spots can appear with no change in how you feel, or you can feel worse with no obvious MRI change. It's a critical tool, but just one piece of evidence. So why is your doctor quietly keeping score? This silent scorecard is a crucial tool that directly impacts your treatment plan. Decisions about your medication are heavily influenced by this quiet data. A big relapse is a 5-alarm fire, but what about a slow smoldering burn? If new symptoms stick around after flare-ups, your medication might not be halting the underlying progression. That's when they might suggest a different approach or a more aggressive therapy. Tracking subtle progression is crucial for future planning and managing your quality of life. If your doctor sees a steady change in your mobility or cognition, they can refer you to a specialist before it becomes a major problem. This proactive approach helps build support systems around you before you even realize you need them. Ultimately, this gives you a sense of control in a situation that can often feel wildly out of your hands. You don't need to live in fear. You just need clarity and a plan. By understanding what your doctor is tracking, you can become an active partner in the process. This transforms you from a passive patient to a co-pilot, navigating your health journey with your doctor as your trusted navigator. Understanding subtle progression is like getting a map. The big highways, the relapses, are already marked. But knowing the small back roads helps you and your doctor make better decisions together. Be aware, not anxious. Simple, powerful actions you can take today. The real power comes from using this knowledge to take control and become a more informed partner in your own healthcare. Here are a few actions to help you and your doctor track subtle progression. First, gently notice patterns. Don't judge, just observe. For example, how long does it take to bounce back after a busy day? Shift from single events like "I stumbled today" to patterns like "I'm less steady on my feet in the evenings." Second, be brutally honest with your doctor. Tell them about small things like trouble with buttons or feeling more fatigued. It might feel minor, but these clues help your doctor see the big picture. Third, track the changes. In a notebook or a notes app, write one sentence a week, like, "My right leg felt stiff on Tuesday." This creates a clear record of emerging patterns. Finally, ask specific direct questions during your visits. For example, based on my exam and symptoms, are you seeing any signs of subtle progression? Or, is my current medication still the best option for slowing these changes? This opens the door to a more collaborative conversation about your long-term health. These actions put you back in the driver's seat, right where you belong. The final word: closing the loop and finding clarity. We started this conversation with a simple promise to break down MS simply with no doom, just truth. The truth is that so much of the MS journey happens in the quiet moments. It's not always the loud, dramatic crash of a major relapse that defines the road ahead. More often, it's the slow, subtle erosion happening in the background. So, to close the loop, the one sign neurologists quietly track is the slow accumulation of persistent symptoms over time. They're watching what sticks around after the storm has passed. It's not about a single MRI or one big event, but how small deficits add up, imperceptibly shifting your baseline. It's the full story, told over months and years. And now that you can see it, you can't unsee it, but that's a good thing. This knowledge isn't meant to be a burden. It's meant to be a flashlight, empowering you to bring your own observations to the table. When you tell your doctor what you've spotted, you can use that knowledge to make informed, powerful choices together. The most important changes in MS are often the quietest ones, and now you know how to listen for them. You can replace anxiety with awareness and fear with facts. If this conversation helped make MS make a little more sense, or put the spotlight on something confusing, then I hope you'll join the community here. Share your journey, ask questions, and read what others are experiencing. Together we turn individual observations into clear, collective knowledge. If this helped, hit subscribe. That's what we do here.